Hey everyone, this is Ryan at POS Portal. I know it's right at the top of the hour. We're going to be getting started shortly. Did want to give anyone that was kind of coming in right at the last minute a chance to get fully settled in. So we'll come back on the line here in just a few minutes, and then we will go ahead and get this started. Okay, everyone, this is Ryan at POS Portal. We will be getting started here in just a couple of minutes. I want to give it to about 5 after the hour to go ahead and get everything going. Uh, If anyone has questions, go ahead and just feed them into the question section, and we'll go ahead and we'll take all of those at the end, so they'll continue to aggregate throughout this presentation. We will be recording this. It will be distributed at the end as well. All right, everyone. It looks like we've got a pretty stable amount of folks in here. I haven't seen too many joining in the last few minutes. So we'll go ahead and get this started. Our presentation today is going to be the top 10 pickup lines for selling point of sale. Doing this presentation today will be myself, Ryan Munoz. I am a channel manager here at POS Portal. A lot of you have worked with POS Portal in the past. We are a hardware supplier, payments terminals, but we also work with folks like Mark Fortin from Touch Bistro, as well as Sean over at Vent, and we provide their tablet-based point-of-sale customers with hardware as well. So really what we're looking to go through in this webinar is how the landscape has changed and some things that you can utilize to bring in additional folks as far as making these merchants stickier within your ecosystem. Outside of processing, the more things that you have the ability to offer these merchants, the more likely they are to stick with you for the long term. So outside of the processing, you're going to have a suite of things that you would be able to offer, and point of sale is one of those things that you can add in. And working with strong organizations like Touch Bistro, like Vend, that have really sussed out these channels and have put a lot of effort into making sure that the people that they partner with are successful in these types of joint ventures, goes a long way, again, towards maintaining that stickiness of the merchant, so that way you become more relevant in their day-to-day life because they're reaching out to you for multiple things. So as far as total value to that organization, you play a very pivotal role. So we decided to have a little bit of fun with this presentation. With Valentine's Day being last week, we're going to run through the top 10 pickup lines for selling point of sale. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Mark and Sean and let them go ahead and get things moving.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Apologies to everyone in advance for how corny things might get with our pickup lines. And I just wanted to let you know that Mark and I are not necessarily the culprits behind all the jokes. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. But in all seriousness, we focus on a number of strategies, tools, and best practices that can help you better sell to your merchants. Obviously, our examples are catered to the point of sale world that we live in, but we think the concepts and strategies are universal in almost any solution. So with that, we'll kick off number 10. And our 10th pickup line is, my love for you is 24/7, like our support. So unlike license-based software or legacy software, support for SaaS point of sale comes included for our customers and for our partners. So companies like Vend and Touch Bistro may have a couple of premium support options, and at Vend we have premium phone support for $19 a month, but this setup still leaves a huge opportunity for our partners. Our merchants can be confident that a basic level of round-the-clock support is included, and they also work with our partners to augment or upgrade the support if necessary, particularly if they're technology shy and want on-site support. In the past, a merchant was paying the ISV for ongoing support and potentially software updates, but with SaaS solutions, our partners have the opportunity to incorporate that aspect of their solution offering, and the merchant has the flexibility to get the support they need. So be that on-site setup, on-site support, some sort of retainer model, there's a lot of avenues to incorporate both the free support and value-added support from the partner into the overall solution for the customer. We'll move on to number 9.
All right, so the 9th pickup line is your name Wi-Fi, because I'm really feeling a connection. That one we're definitely not responsible for. One thing that we do recommend focusing on while selling or advocating for a POS is what companies they're actually partnered or integrated with. On the one hand, you can think of these as sort of like extended features of the product, but you can also highlight the fact that these partnerships speak volumes about the confidence that these other companies that have chosen to integrate with them have in the solution. Just like POS Portal, wouldn't invite us to do these presentations if our solution was kind of crappy or subpar. We know that the companies we partner with reflect back on us as well. So definitely highlight and look for those partners that aren't necessarily operating on an island.
And another thing that many of our partners do is check to see if there are additional integrated solutions that you can position for the merchant. For example, at Vend, we have a large number of accounting partners. They started reselling cloud accounting solutions like QBO and Xero, and found that their customers were asking about point of sale. As the #1 Xero point of sale integration, they found us, joined our partner program, and now they can position both POS and accounting as part of the overall solution to the merchant, earning residuals on both SaaS products. And it extends beyond just POS and accounting. Solutions like staff management or payments can be all incorporated into one overall integrated solution, and you can earn residuals and revenue streams from all of them. Moving on to number 8.
All right, so the 8th pickup line is, can I check out your hardware? I have the tools to help. So going beyond advising on more than just the POS and the merchant services can actually really help you during your sales process. Things like understanding what sort of integrations can help them can help them overall.
One second, everyone. It seems like we might have lost Mark and Sean. Hold on one second while I try and get this remedied real quick. Bear with us for 1 second while we get this all squared away, guys. Thanks for the patience. Just got a message from them. There was a little hiccup on their end. They're getting everything logged back in right now. So we should be back online here shortly. And there they are. All right, gentlemen. I will kick things back over to you.
I blame technology.
Well, maybe I'll start from the top on the pickup line there. Does that sound good? Is that about where we dropped off?
Yeah, so I lost you basically shortly after you had gone over the line of the can I inspect your hardware? I have the tools to help. You started going through that, and then we lost you. So we'll go ahead and let you jump back in from there.
Nice. Well, it was a good pickup line, so getting a second dose is no harm there. Yeah, what I was saying just before losing connection is going beyond advising on the POS and merchant services can help you both get your foot in the door with people, but also help add more value. Things like understanding what sort of integrations or what other solutions are going to help solve some of their problems. Just gives you a ton of credibility and allows you to add more value to the merchant. What hardware is required for these different sort of solutions that you have in your bag? Can you help them with a bigger picture of how the solution you're bringing in can help the business? And one thing that I think I mentioned after I dropped off is you can think of a solution as a product, but really conceptually, if you're coming in with a solution for the merchant, not just, hey, here's some lower rates, or here's a better company, or here's a better PIN pad, or here's a POS, but what are your problems? Are you getting more busy and having problems scaling? Are waiters, are the operations of the waiters, the kitchen, not working out for you? Because I have about 3 or 4 different things that can help you. So anyways, you can work with partners like Ven and Touch Bistro. We have programs like this, and more importantly, we can make introductions to our partners. POS Portal being a big one for hardware, but we also have partners like QuickBooks that do accounting and partners that do scheduling and loyalty and all this really neat stuff that can help out your merchants. So anyways, your software partners can help you get to others as well. So with that said, we'll move on to the 7th pickup line, which is, can I check out your hardware? I have the tools to help.
Well, that was number 8.
Oh, sorry. Oh, this one's even worse. Okay, so the 7th pickup line is that an iPad in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? So nowadays, almost every merchant is aware of mobile POS solutions. They're interesting, they're cutting edge, they offer huge benefits when it comes to efficiency. They run on software and technology that staff are using every 2 seconds of their life. So having one of these solutions in your portfolio to advocate for, to work with, will give you the ability to ride on all of this buzz. And one big piece of feedback that both myself and Ben get is having Touch Bistro get in their pocket, or having Touch Bistro and Vend in their portfolio help them get their foot in the door, especially with younger owners and millennials who are highly attracted to products like yours. They don't want to be stuck in the past. So if you're talking to a restaurant, just on the topic of mobile POS, if you're talking to a restaurant, you can communicate the value of increasing waiter efficiency, let's say. So for decades, obviously waiters have been running back and forth from a computer, a POS system, to the customer's table. So one thing that Touch Bistro does is it gives the staff the ability to take their own iPad, their own POS, and walk around with it. Take it right up to the table, place orders right at the table, send them to the kitchen right at the table, take payment right at the table, with both swiping and EMV. We've got all that. And when it comes to counter service venues, both Touch Bistro and Vend, offer this neat little ability to increase the customer's throughput, people through the line, by potentially taking a second terminal, an iPad, down that line and do what they call line busting. So with that said, the 6th pickup line, I'll let Ben take this one.
I like this one. Okay, so roses are red, violets are blue. These guys work with us, and you should too. Customer testimonials. So customer testimonials are a powerful tool, but they can also be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, nothing helps build trust like a story that a merchant can relate to, but on the other, it can end up being a rabbit hole with customers looking for more and more examples of specific use cases. With that in mind, make sure your case studies or testimonials and any partner ones that you use are focused on measurable results that solve the merchant's main problem. So it's not necessarily about having examples in the same city, the same industry as your prospect. It's about how the solution helps someone in a similar situation solve a problem. That problem can be saving time, making money, or helping their business grow. But we would encourage you to focus on stories that demonstrate results rather than trying to match a lookalike merchant. One benefit of case studies is that they can help you avoid referral calls, where your prospects speak to existing customers directly. And this isn't to suggest that you should avoid these calls because you don't have happy customers. You wouldn't be in business for long if you were just full of unhappy customers. But in our experience, setting up a reference call can seriously slow down a deal. You can be stuck waiting for the referral call to happen, and this can give your competitors a chance to move in on your deal and move their own deal along. Case studies that demonstrate the solution and ultimately return on investment for the merchant are a powerful tool in convincing the merchant and are frequently produced and made available by partners of the ISV. So at both Vend and Touch Bistro, we actually have professionally curated case studies and testimonials that are produced with high production value, and you can use those and leverage those for prospective merchants and share those directly with your prospects. With that, we'll move on to number 5.
All right, so number 5, so I'm not even going to read this one out. You can actually see it on the screen. It's a very edgy pickup line. I don't recommend using it. But in all honesty, one of the best sales strategies for selling subscription-based POS, like Vend and Touch Bistro, and there are many others, to somebody who's currently running a legacy system, or some, say, traditional or legacy POS, is just to talk about the overall rate of change in the business world. As a business owner, obviously, you shouldn't ignore all this change, or else you're going to get left behind. There's that other cheesy line that's be proactive and invest in tomorrow, right? Stay up to date. And I think there's a lot of truth to that underneath the cheese. But if you approach somebody in either, they're either a retail business or potentially hospitality, like a restaurant or a coffee shop. But if you approach somebody that is using a POS, just as an example, using a POS that is older than 8 years old, then I guarantee that that owner has no ability to pull open their Android or iPhone at any moment, anywhere in the world, and be able to pull up an app that shows them how their business is performing right in that moment to the second. And obviously this is the big benefit of having cloud reporting solutions like Vend and like Touch Bistro. But that's just a real world example. And I'm sure when you go into these venues, you're looking at POS systems all day long, right? And if you look at legacies, they all look like they were built in the 90s. So, I think that our types of companies have done a very good job at keeping up with the rate of change and the acceleration of it. Merchants should use a solution that's keeping with this accelerated change all the time, and ones that are innovating all the time. I can say from Touch Bistro's perspective, we spend $8 to $10 million a year just on software engineering. And if you look at any other of the legacy systems, again, they're still kind of look like they did about 10 years ago, and sort of have the same sort of feature set. Anyways, with that said, we'll move on to the fourth pickup line, which is, do you believe in love at first sight, or should I demo it again? So in the context of Touch Bistro and Vend, most people are sold on the first demo. So, but very rarely, the point I'm making is very rarely is a brochure or sell sheet enough to sell a product. When you partner with companies like ours, we'll give you a bunch of sales collateral and all that. But one great thing that solutions like ours offer is they have interactive product demonstrations as well. And that's really where somebody is sold. So with Touch Bistro, with Vend, we have sample cafes that, or venues that prospects can get their hands on and take for a test drive and play around with this. But really where the sale is done is on a proper demo with one of our account managers and yourself and your merchant, your prospect. And in addition, Vend and Touch Bistro will run these generally remotely for you and your prospects. And we'll go through how the solution works, how it's going to fix a lot of their problems. Our account reps sort of work with you to tag team that sale together on that demo. That way, by the end, the merchant has a great POS solution. They got a great processing solution or whatever your offer is. And yeah, it's a much better buying experience for them. So with that said, I'll let Sean give you the third pickup line.
Okay, so pickup line number 3. If you take me out to dinner, I'll show you my features and benefits. As you get into deeper conversations with a merchant, they will start to look for some detailed product info. And most companies, as Mark mentioned before, and us included, we have great feature sheets, checklists. Even I think we have an online avenue to see updated features as they're coming out. And these are incredibly useful as long as you don't get caught in the weeds. So also important is that for any SaaS like us, software as a service, you should try and find out what's on the product roadmap. So unlike legacy systems, customers will pay annually or monthly for their SaaS subscription and be entitled to new updates and releases along the way. As we release something, it automatically is released right to the end user, the merchant, the second they log into their account. It just pushes down automatically. No need to update as if they were on a legacy solution and doing fresh installs or anything like that. And so this also happens with no additional fee. Updates are just part of the subscription. The value to your merchants is not just the product as it stands today, but what it will look like in the coming months, quarters, and years. So the lifetime that they're using that product. Having a view into the future can help you better provide the best solution to your customers. And with that, we'll move on to pickup line number 2.
All right, so pickup line number 2. I think I've actually used this one in real life before. I think I'd be a good return on your investment. That one's actually fairly wholesome. So we said earlier not to get too caught up in the feature checklist. That's one of the most annoying things possible, is when they're just lining up feature to feature. We know that solutions are just beyond a feature list. You're selling a business solution, so the sales process is about more than just going through what it can and can't do, but also looking at how well it can do this. Somebody might have a feature on a list, might not be able to fulfill on that feature very well as far as usability or practicality. So as much as possible, we encourage you to focus on the value provided overall as a solution and solving their problems, not just the specific features. That's one thing that at Touch Bistro we train up our reps. Solve problems. The POS is not the thing. The POS is the thing that solves the problem, which is the thing that you're selling. But it's amazing to talk about the awesome things you can do with softwares now. But for small or medium-sized business owners, they care about mostly 2 things, which is time and money, and how to save or make more of both. And those are 2 things that I think these newer software solutions, especially ours, do exceptionally well over the legacies. Look for tools to quantify the value or return on investment of a solution, and you'll be able to demonstrate to your clients and prospects that you're going to add value to them beyond just maybe the one product that you're approaching them with. And I think Sean wants to mention something as well.
Yeah, so a good example of that is at Venn we have what we call our ROI calculator, and this can estimate how much Venn can increase the business owner's annual revenue. So what's the actual measurable revenue ROI that they can expect by using the software? And it's based on 5 questions and data from over 20,000 stores that use Venn. So we've been able to see the best practices and the actual value added from our customer base, and we can plug in inputs into a ROI calculator and spit out something that you can show the merchant on the spot that has a measurable impact. And our partners can give prospects that estimate based on reduced shrinkage, saved admin hours, and other factors that might not necessarily be there on the feature checklist, but add demonstrable value from the software. And I guess from there, we'll move on to line number 1. So line number 1 is, when I look at you, I want to share more than revenue. So we've talked a lot about how to sell point of sale and the tools that our successful partners use. Through this, hopefully we've shown how committed both Venn and Touch Bistro are to our partner ecosystem and their success. We'd love to work together, and we're confident that if you partner with us to sell point of sale, to your retail and hospitality merchants, we can help your business significantly. But on the next slide, I'll talk about exactly what that means. So there's 4 ways that we do this. The slide up above that. There we go. First one is adding new revenue streams. And I alluded to this a little earlier, when you are able to stack your residuals based on providing more than one product in an overall solution. Our programs allow you to earn commission from the sales and worry less about the sales process. So our teams will act as extensions of your sales team, supporting you through, from the point of introduction through to close. If you're not sure about how to handle objections with one of our softwares, free demo from our side, we'll hop on the call with you, and we will be able to handle those objections and help sell in the product. So you don't have to worry about going through that aspect and using your time and capital to go through that aspect. You can offload that to us. More than happy to help with that part while you still control and quarterback the deal. Increase customer stickiness. Merchants with integrated systems and solutions stay customers for longer. So we know that we have the data that proves it. And for your merchants, it's significantly less likely that they'll switch off your processing platform or away from your services if it's integrated to their point of sale. The next one is the ability to grow residuals and total processing volume. So at Vend and Touch Bistro, we protect and help secure your payment residuals. And we do this by keeping it in scope of our point of sale, presenting it as a fully integrated solution. And then finally, we help decrease acquisition costs. So with our partners, we invest in enablement, training, and partner marketing materials. And this means that your teams will be more productive in closing deals while we help you source leads. And moving on to the next slide. Here's a couple of success stories from some of our partners. One of our Vend partners has over 20 customers using Vend integrated with Vantiv integrated payments within a year of joining our program. And so this means that he's earning residuals from Vend as well as the processing revenue from Vantiv. So Vend doesn't touch that processing revenue, and that way the partner is actually able to keep both. This reseller also sells ancillary services like accounting, HR management software, and these both add more revenue streams and deepen his relationship with his customers. My team works closely with the partner through his sales process. Sometimes we send him to trade shows that are vertical specific, but my team is also helping him with follow-ups, demos, and activations. When his resource becomes more scarce, we're able to jump in there and help that along, because ultimately we're in partnership and we're both looking to win the business. In the past year, he's also received over $2,500 in funding from us for marketing activities outside of the other ones to help him generate new business. And now he's balancing his time between prospecting new business and upselling services like accounting and cloud storage for his existing clients.
And this is Mark at Touch Bistro, and we also have somewhat of a similar success case that Sean had gone through that I wanted to share. We brought on board a partner who had a significant success right out of the gate. So this, and it's not just a one-time thing, it happens with the vast majority of the people that we bring on. This was a merchant service company that came to us because they were obviously experiencing this increased pressure to provide a POS along with their processing solution. And they sold Vantiv and I think another one perhaps. But they didn't necessarily have the expertise or desire or bandwidth to take on the full-blown amount of work it takes to sell and fulfill a POS. So they didn't become a full-blown reseller. They became more of a referral or affiliate partner that a lot of that both Vend and Touch Bistro are heavily investing in right now. But when they submitted a lead to us, essentially what happened was our sales rep and their sales rep worked the deal together, as was on a couple of other slides, and they worked through the sales cycle together. So with a bit of a slow start, we ended up with this one partner bringing on 5 new merchants in 3 months together. And that kind of early success, they're doing a lot more than that now, but that kind of early success was pretty big, and we see that quite a bit. So today, just again with this one partner, we've converted 41.6% of the merchants that connected with us, or that they had advocated with and connected with us. So they became mutual customers of both Touch Bistro and that partner's processing. That was a really great success case, and it's not all that out of the ordinary either. So the last slide just kind of leaves you with a little bit more information about Touch Bistro and Vend.
Actually, yeah, we've got room right in between there. So, sorry, Mark, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here real quick. This will be emailed out, this link to this landing page for any folks that are looking to go ahead and submit information. The next slide will also give direct information for both Mark and Sean's programs at their respective organizations. So we will have the ability to go ahead and aggregate these things in a couple of different fashions. Oops, let me get this back over here. All right, and this is the slide I believe you were looking for, Mark.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, this is just some leave behind information. Please do connect with us. We'd love to just have a quick call, tell you a little bit more about our programs, speak a little bit more to our solutions. And overall, we hope we've given you some tips for how to better sell POS. A lot of those tips come directly from what our own sales teams use every day. And also some of that info is going to help you get started being involved in this stuff. If point of sale is one of the things you're considering adding to your offer, then without a question, definitely get in touch. Touch Bistro, again, is a point of sale built for restaurants and hospitality merchants. So, obviously full service restaurants, but also coffee shops, food trucks, and any other food service or counter service venue. While Vend is perfect for retailers, especially on their inventory side of things and reporting. And as alluded to in earlier examples, both Touch Bistro and Vend have specific programs that are designed for people like yourself, and definitely people in the merchant service industry. So if you think your customers would be interested in retail or restaurant point of sale on tablets, we'll give you the training you need to talk about our products. We'll give you all the tools and resources to advocate for it, hand out brochures and all that. So we'll give you everything you need to set you up for success, as well, and most importantly, as introducing new revenue streams into your business through these programs. So with that being said, speaking also for Vend, we really appreciate everybody joining in on the presentation here, hearing our cheesy lines, and definitely a big shout out to POS Portal for facilitating this for us.
Absolutely. And so now we have some time for some questions. I wanted to thank Mark and Sean for jumping on board and doing this, and for delivering those lines with what would be considered a straight face. I don't know that I could have pulled that off if they had not been here. With that said, we've got a couple of questions that have come through over the course of the webinar, and so we'll go ahead and address those now. If anyone has any additional questions, go ahead and submit those and we'll get those. The most popular one that's come through is, will this be recorded for later? Yes, this webinar is being recorded. The link will be distributed at a later time. So if you have any colleagues that were unable to make the live webinar, we will be able to distribute that out for you. The next one comes from Tom. Tom wants to know, how will cloud-based POS versus legacy increase his customers' ROI?
Yeah, great question. So one of the best aspects of, say, cloud versus legacy, and I think Mark alluded to this earlier, is the ability to know exactly what's happening in your business as it happens. So for example, if I'm an owner, I have 6 locations. I'll just take a retail example. 6 locations. I can't be everywhere at once, but I want to be completely in tune to the business. I'm able to see from my phone, my mobile phone, or say I'm at home on my computer, exactly what is happening at every location from one central hub. And I can do this without having to worry about VPNing in or about a server and a connection going down. All this data as it's happening is being passed on. And what that means is that as an owner, I can look for efficiencies across the business and try and implement those in real time. And so say, for example, I paired that with staff management software. I think Deputy is one that partners with us in our list, but I can see what my cost of labor is mapped over with my sales, and even trend that against the weather. And I can understand if I should be phoning someone in for a shift later in the evening because sales are up through the roof. It's a beautiful day and I'm selling something relevant to that. And I can perhaps call someone in there and get that shift filled so that I can handle the sales volume and not miss out on transactions. Or the opposite of that is true also. Sales are way down, let's pull staff away, and now I don't have to worry about the capital that is equated to that staff.
And then on just quickly on Touch Bistro side, I mean, I guess both our systems, Vend and Touch Bistro, are a fraction of the upfront cost of a POS and ongoing cost. So, but if you're looking for actual features, just like Vend has some of those things that will reflect positively on ROI, so does Touch Bistro. So for example, you can report on the average table turnover, but you can go even beyond that and do it per waiter. Meanwhile, there's another report 5 inches to the right of that report that says what the average spend is per waiter. So a restaurant with Touch Bistro is going to be able to see Tommy the waiter, his tables turn over every 30 minutes and he brings in 3 nights. Jenny's tables turn over every hour and she brings in $400 a night. So who's the more profitable employee for you? And that's just an example of some of the stuff that we have and stuff that POSs have never done in the past.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's centralized down to the hour reporting, or depending on what reports you're pulling, down to the most previous sale. Being able to see that across your whole business operation, and being able to adjust for trends that you might see there, allows you a powerful, like, management opportunity to impact revenue or loss on an hourly or daily basis. Yeah, so I hope that answers that one.
Great answers. Yeah, no, those great answers from both of you. Appreciate that. The next question that I have is actually coming in from Nancy, and she wants to know, what partners are you guys aware of that are within your ecosystem that also offer reseller programs?
So this is Touch Bistro here. POS is obviously a huge product. A lot of the other integrations that we have are with sort of peripheral type solutions, like a loyalty program, like a scheduling program. There are accounting softwares as well that we're integrated with, and same thing with Ven. But because these are sort of smaller peripheral type products, like a loyalty solution, not all of them actually have a full reseller channel program built out. It's just not their model. They do often have, similar to ours, like these affiliate or referral programs. So if you hook somebody up with them, then they'll give you a check for $500 or $600 if it ends up closing. So I know that all of our partners have that.
Yeah, and I can add to that. From the Ven side of things, we have some of them listed on our site regionally as well. But Xero, from an accounting perspective, both offers, I believe they have full reseller programs and dealer programs. Merchant services, obviously. So if you're with an integrated merchant service provider, for us, Van have integrated, great way there. From the staff management side, there is Deputy, I mentioned earlier. I know that they have a program in place. From loyalty, I believe Third Shelf is one, Collect is another. So Third Shelf and Collect, 2 separate loyalty companies. Aside from that, I mean, security, stuff that doesn't necessarily integrate, but you can position with as an overall part of the solution. Security, networking, reselling on the lines of, what's it called, ISP services. So there's a whole ecosystem that you can put together into a product offering, cloud storage, and I think there's scheduling softwares as well. So I forget off the top of my head exactly which ones have reseller programs, but if you look on our website, you can see who integrates with us and follow up along those threads too, from the reservation software also.
Oh, great answers, and one that we're getting a couple of different folks that have chimed in with this one, and this goes out to both of you, so you can take it in whichever order you'd like. But as far as point of sale systems that are out there, what would each of you say are your key differentiators from the competition?
Ease of use.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you mine real quick. So our ability to report in real time across multiple outlets. So as your business scales, you can scale with our software and see that reporting. You don't have to pay anything extra. So you're not adding a reporting module or special advanced reporting features. For us, we see reporting as something that is just baked into our offering, and it should be standard in all point of sale. Also, our reporting, the ability to see it across multiple locations, all the functionality within that is included, and all updates to that functionality. So if you start using our tool to accept suggestions on selling, let's say, for example, or stocking products, taking insight on, okay, I turned this much product on this SKU and that much on that SKU, and not necessarily am I focusing on the ones I should, and you can use our product to see those insights. That's a powerful thing, and to have that under the one core offering, there's not different add-ons that are offered by us that you have to pay for and worry about. It's all in one system. Aside from that, ease of use, mobility. So we work on PC, Mac, as well as iPad. So 3 platforms. You're not tied to necessarily one hardware set. POS Portal has options for all of those, all of that hardware stuff, but it is all over the counter stuff. So it's not necessarily proprietary hardware. You don't have to worry about buying special peripherals that only work with us and thus drive up the cost and of those peripherals. So advantages there. Also on the customer management side, big thing for Vend is that we have an open API. So if you have customers that do require connections to other softwares and they want to develop those connections, a good example is we have a turnkey integration with NetSuite provided by a partner. We're able to be that front-end module to NetSuite, help turn that user experience into a much more cost-effective one, but easy to use front-end, while passing all that data through the open API into NetSuite. So NetSuite gets to know what it needs to know from our system. It can connect in real time, make those calls, and all that advantages of real-time reporting are passed through our system. So that's a couple from Ben's side.
So I actually have a very difficult time really conveying a good answer to this. And I get asked a lot, like, why is Touch Bistro easier to use in Legacy? The only real answer I have is it's everything about it. If you guys have an iPad, download Touch Bistro for free and after this and play around with it, because if I were to list off the features that are easier to use in Touch Bistro than, let's say, an Aloha or a Micros or any of the many different POS legacies out there, I'd be spending an hour here listing off every single feature we have. I can tell you generally, our reports are way, way easier to read for a restaurant owner who are not necessarily accountants by any means, but they're significantly easier to look at. You can visit our reporting section on our website under features, and you can have a quick look, or you can Google image search it. But even from a waiter's perspective, the average waiter can use Touch Bistro in about half to 3/4 of the time as a legacy. And that goes for, handling a table of 5 people, where some people are, splitting the nachos. Some people are couples, so they're combining bills. One person wants to pay half of their bill on some loyalty or some gift card, the other half on their credit card, and a third of it on their the cash. It's things like that. It's really everything. It's just software and hardware that acts, looks, and behaves like software that we use today.
Yeah, and just touching on Mark's point real quick, one of the things that crosses our engineers' minds when they're designing the software is how many people in the organization actually use it to derive the value out of the software. So having something that can do a wide variety of things, but it's complicated in how to achieving those goals. If only 2 people on a staff of 20 know how to actually use those functions and get the value out of that software, then you're missing a whole bunch of opportunity within your own organization. So when we design our softwares, ease of use is a huge factor, and the ability to quickly navigate the things, to make it so that it doesn't take a staff member a full day of training to learn how to do something. It's intuitive. It's kind of like when you pick up your iPhone or your Android phone and you actually really think about it. How long did it take you to learn navigation and actually start getting into your phone and accomplishing core tasks? That's the mindset behind our software design as well. And we want to give the same functionality, add the same value, but also have ease of use so that it's achievable by the full organization as opposed to just a couple of power users on staff.
Nope, I think that those are both great answers. So that's pretty much the majority of the questions that we've been receiving. So with that, again, wanted to thank Mark and Sean for their time today, as well as everyone else that joined in on this webinar. Again, this was recorded, so it's being archived. This will be made available to folks within a couple of days here. We'll also be sending out that landing page, and for those of you that jotted down Mark and Sean's contact information for their respective programs, you can also reach out to them directly. So with that said, thanks everyone for your time. I hope everyone has a great day.